Imagine a world where PlayStation never existed. Hard to picture, right? The brand that revolutionized gaming with hits like Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid, and Gran Turismo almost didn't exist. But here's the twist. Its creation is tied to none other than Nintendo. Yes, that Nintendo. Today, we're diving deep into the intriguing story of how Nintendo, one of the giants of gaming, accidentally helped create its biggest competitor, PlayStation. Buckle up for a wild ride. The 1980s were Nintendo's era. After rescuing the gaming industry from a massive crash in 1983, they skyrocketed to become the king of video games. The NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, sold millions of units, and their games became household names. By the late 80s, Nintendo had practically monopolized the gaming industry. But like every empire, there were challenges ahead. Enter the 1990s. As Nintendo prepared for the next era, they faced a major question. How do you improve on perfection? The answer, they thought, was simple. Move from cartridges to the emerging CD format.
And that's it. And dust, because the information is stored underneath a plastic film.
The early 90s were all about the future. CDs were revolutionizing the way we listened to music, watched movies, and yes, played video games. CDs were cheaper to produce and held a ton more data than cartridges. It seemed like a no-brainer for game companies to make the shift. Nintendo knew this, and they set out to build their next big innovation, a CD add-on for the already successful Super Nintendo Entertainment System. But Nintendo couldn't do it alone. For this high-tech endeavor, they needed a partner, and who better to work with than Sony.
Out of its case, Sony introduces the only cassette player case, the incredible-sounding Super Walk.
Sony, by this point, was a leader in electronics, best known for their audio technology. They had the expertise to help Nintendo build the future of gaming. And so, in 1988, an unlikely partnership was born. Sony would develop the technology for Nintendo's new CD-based console, which would be called the PlayStation. Yes, with a space between the words. For years, the two giants worked together. Sony built a prototype, a device that could play both Super Nintendo cartridges and CDs. The PlayStation was shaping up to be a revolutionary gaming console, a perfect marriage of Nintendo's gaming legacy and Sony's cutting-edge technology. Everything seemed to be going smoothly. That is, until it wasn't. In 1991, the gaming world was ready for something big. Sony and Nintendo had been working in secrecy, and CES was supposed to be their big reveal. Sony came to the event expecting Nintendo to officially announce their partnership. But then, everything changed. At CES, Nintendo stunned the world. They revealed that they had secretly cut a deal with another electronics giant, Philips, abandoning Sony without warning. There was no mention of the PlayStation. Instead, Nintendo announced a different CD project with Philips. For Sony, this was the ultimate betrayal. Years of development had just gone down the drain. But Sony wasn't about to back down. Sony could have walked away. They could have left the gaming industry altogether, but instead they chose to fight. Sony's engineers, led by Ken Tsutoragi, the man credited as the father of PlayStation, decided to take the technology they had developed with Nintendo and make their own console. Thus, the PlayStation was born. The project that started as a collaboration with Nintendo became a standalone console, Sony's bold entry into the world of video games. Released in 1994, the PlayStation wasn't just another gaming system. It was a revolution. PlayStation didn't just succeed, it reshaped the entire gaming industry by pushing the boundaries of 3D gaming. Sony embraced the future of gaming with fully realized 3D worlds, something that many consoles at the time struggled to achieve. Competitors like the Sega Saturn, and even the beloved Nintendo 64 had their strengths. But PlayStation stood out for one reason: it did 3D better. While Sega's Saturn focused on 2D graphics and Nintendo's 64-bit powerhouse excelled in first-party titles, The PlayStation offered smooth, immersive 3D experiences across a variety of genres. Games like Final Fantasy VII brought cinematic storytelling to life, with its blend of pre-rendered cutscenes and 3D exploration. Crash Bandicoot showed how developers could craft large, detailed environments and seamless animations that felt like a true leap into the next generation of gaming. The PlayStation's 3D capabilities allowed developers to experiment with camera angles, open worlds, and character movements in ways that were groundbreaking at the time. It was this innovation that gave PlayStation an edge over its competitors. While the Nintendo 64 introduced beloved titles like Super Mario 64 and The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, it struggled with third-party support. Sega's Saturn, meanwhile, couldn't keep up in terms of 3D performance and game library. Sony's PlayStation wasn't just another console, it was the leader of a new era. It made 3D gaming mainstream and accessible to a much larger audience. And as developers flocked to Sony's system, it became clear the PlayStation had changed the game for good. For years, Nintendo and Sony battled for supremacy in the gaming world. While PlayStation became known for its deep library of third-party games and cutting-edge hardware, Nintendo continued to innovate in its own way. By the time the Wii launched in 2006, Nintendo had found a new niche: motion controls and casual gaming, which helped them regain some of the ground they had lost. But even then, the shadow of PlayStation loomed large. The competitor that Nintendo had unwittingly created had become a giant. Today, the PlayStation brand is synonymous with gaming excellence. From the original PlayStation to the current PS5, Sony has pushed the boundaries of what's possible in gaming. And it's fascinating to think that all of this started because of one fateful decision by Nintendo. What if Nintendo had never partnered with Sony? What if they hadn't abandoned the PlayStation project? Would we even have a PlayStation today? It's one of the biggest what-if moments in gaming history, and it shows just how unpredictable the industry can be. In the end, Nintendo's loss was Sony's gain. By cutting ties with Sony, Nintendo helped create its biggest rival. It's a story of betrayal, resilience, and the unintended consequences that shape the future of gaming. Today, both Nintendo and Sony continue to lead the industry in their own ways, but we'll always remember how it all began. With the creation of PlayStation, born out of a partnership that was never meant to last. If you enjoyed this deep dive into gaming history, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps us out. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories like this one. Do you think Nintendo made the right move, or did they miss out on something bigger? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, game on.